Man accidentally took part in a military experiment and ended up being frozen for a full 500 years. When he woke up, he found that the Earth had become a complete mess. Two leaning skyscrapers were tied together with ropes. Broken elevated highways were being repaired by government workers. And aside from him, everyone else had turned into idiots. Because he simply answered a basic question on a TV show, what's 1 + 1 = 2, he was immediately made president of the country. All of this came as a huge shock to him. It turned out that in modern society, intelligent couples were too busy working and increasingly unwilling to have children. Meanwhile, low IQ couples had no jobs but were passionate about reproduction. As time went by, the overall human IQ rapidly declined. To counter this trend, the military launched a human hibernation program. The plan was to freeze the elite members of society in order to preserve superior genes. Jack was selected as one of the first test subjects. He participated in the experiment along with a woman named Annie. The military promised that both of them would receive a large reward after the experiment ended. So the two of them entered the hibernation pods and went into deep sleep. The initial plan was to thaw them 1 year later, but an accident happened. The person in charge of the experiment was arrested for corruption. The top secret experiment was completely forgotten. The laboratory was demolished, and the hibernation pods were buried underground. Time flew by. Human intelligence continued to deteriorate rapidly. In the blink of an eye, 500 years had passed. With the population exploding, garbage piled up into mountains. No one was cleaning it up. At that moment, a garbage truck dumped another full load. As the last bottle hit the pile, the mountain of trash finally collapsed. Garbage swept through the entire city like a tsunami. Jack's hibernation pod happened to be swept into a man named Tom's house. Tom was watching TV at home at the time. Jack, just crawling out of the pod and still disoriented, was immediately thrown out by Tom. Jack wandered onto the streets looking for help, but everyone he met seemed utterly stupid. He came across a hospital. Even the hospital sign was crooked. He went inside hoping to get a health check, but the way hospitals operated now shocked him even more. The nurse didn't ask him anything and simply chose a cartoon icon matching his body part. He was sent for a physical exam, and the exam process was even more bizarre. The doctor took out 3 metal rods. The first was inserted into his mouth, the second into his ear, and the third into his butt. After the test, the doctor told him he had used the wrong order and needed to start over. The third rod was actually supposed to go in his mouth. Jack was speechless. It was then that Jack finally learned from a magazine that it was now the year 2505. He had been asleep for a full 500 years in that hibernation pod.